Hello there, welcome to TonTV and Greenock Morton Weekly Update as sponsored by McAlister, the auctioneers. Now, the manager David Hawkins is always talking about mixing youth and experience in his side, and there's one member of the squad who really understands that, Jim McAlister. Jim, of course, came through the youth setup, went on to represent the first team with much aplomb, and then came back for a second time. He's now captain, of course. He leads the team out onto the pitch, and he has a tremendous influence on the young players in the squad. I caught up with him today just before he went to training. Jim, back in training, a couple of weeks now. How's it been?
It's been good, yeah, it's been good. Obviously the layoff with given the virus and different things was a lot longer than what you would normally get. Normally it's only a kind of 6-week period he's turned over, but obviously this time it's been several months. Boys have clearly looked after themselves because they've come back into training and they're flying straight away.
And so are you. I was watching you and Midge. The manager always holds you guys up as an example to the younger players, and rightly so, because, don't mind me saying, in your 30s, the two of you, but still running, still hungry. It's such a great example for the kids.
Yeah, listen, if the kids can learn something from it, then happy days, because the club benefit from it long term. But I think obviously once you get to that kind of 30 and above age in football, you're regarded as kind of been one of the older kind of statesmen in the squad, but you probably appreciate it a bit more as well, because you know there's maybe not that many years left in terms of playing, so you appreciate every day's training that you get, and obviously every game that comes.
Quite interesting as well, because Midge is involved now. We've seen him up at training, we've got video of it. He takes the boys through the warm up and the warm down. That's a whole new role for him, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's perfectly suited for it as well. Obviously he's away and studied with the personal training stuff, and he does his own work on the side with that as well, and he stepped into that role as if he's done it for years. And the boys know if there are any issues in terms of if it's going to be working in the gym here at Capello and stuff like that, then they know they can go and speak to him, and he'll go and spend a bit of time with them and show them the right techniques and different things as well. So I think the coaching staff are very lucky to have him on board.
Do you see yourself getting into coaching?
I don't know. I don't know if it's something I see long term. Listen, when I was younger here, all the senior players used to say, do your badges while you're playing, and I maybe started them a wee bit later than what I should have. I'm halfway through doing the licence just now, but if it's an opportunity that comes, it would be hard to say no to, but I don't know if it's something that you would actively go and seek. But football's a funny game, and you just don't know what's around the corner in terms of football, so yeah, it's certainly something you would consider.
Well, we're talking about the blend of youth and experience the manager likes. When you broke in to the youth ranks and then coming through to the first team, I'm thinking Hobby was kind of around the orbit at that point, coming to the end of his career. Do you remember much about that?
Yeah, no, I can remember him training here. I used to come over for Rossi and train with the under-18s on a Tuesday night and a Thursday night, but that was at Battery Park, but the first team would be training out here, and there was a couple of times I get brought up to train with the first team, and obviously he's recognisable character, the career that he had played for Scotland, and it kind of stuck in the back of your mind. So I think I possibly trained with him a handful of times, and then I think he retired shortly after that.
And now come full circle, of course, manager of the club. How do you see this season going for you and the manager?
Yeah, no, I think it was just so unfortunate the way it ended last season. Players were really starting to take on board the coaching points that the manager was trying to get across, and obviously we were on a kind of fantastic run, building momentum at the right time of the season, and obviously that all kind of ground to a halt. But I think that the most telling factor is the amount of boys that have re-signed. Given what's been on, obviously pretty much everyone's had to take a wage cut and stuff to stay with the club, but I mean, you ask any one of the boys, the manager would have been a massive factor in that, because boys enjoy coming to their work. He looks out for his players, he looks after them properly, and it's a great opportunity for the club going forward in coming years. He's got together now a nucleus of players for about the age of 20 to 26, who could potentially be very good. So if the club can look after them, going forward, you could have the spine of a right good team in years to come.
Because one of the advantages of having the length of career you've had is that you've worked with a number of managers. I don't want to rate people in comparison to that, but I'd imagine David Hawkins quite up there for you.
No, he's been fantastic. Obviously, I only really worked with him for a season, but you could see for day one last year at pre-season, you know, we were straight into doing a bit of shape and stuff like that, and straight away he was implementing, you know, what he wanted from us as a team, you know, individually and collectively. And I say from his point of view, maybe took a wee bit longer for players to take it on board, but when we actually did, you know, you started to see the rewards you were getting on the pitch. He's done it before he came here in this league as well. So we've started off with a similar squad, so the pictures are already kind of ingrained in your mind as to how he wants to play. We're probably still maybe 3, 4, 5 players short of what he would like. I would imagine he'll want to strengthen in certain positions, but hopefully the club can see that and we can get some more players in, and then hopefully go and really push on this season.
And when new players come in, do you see your role as the captain of going up, welcome to the club, given your kind of experience of it? Because you are the manager's voice out on the park.
Yeah, no, it is important to welcome new players. Obviously, Rabin's come in, he's been different class in training, you know, and he's settled into the group as if he's been here for years. The majority of the boys know Gary, Oliver as well, having been here 2 seasons ago, so it's not been an issue in terms of for them coming in and settling into the squad. It's a great dressing room, you know, that everyone gets on with everyone, which can be rare in a football dressing room. Quite often there's wee kind of cliques here and there, but that's not something that I've seen here last year and this year. So no, a good dressing room and a happy dressing room off the pitch can hopefully be a successful one on it.
You're a very focused guy. You seem to be very focused on your career and things. Do you set a personal target for a season, or?
Personally, obviously you want to play as many games as you can. That might be a kind of selfish target, but that's just a personal one. You want to be involved in a Saturday, and that comes for training properly and sticking in the manager's throat, you know, with performances and stuff. But collectively as a group, I think it's always daft to come out and say, oh, we're going for the playoffs. I always feel that should be kept in-house and in the dressing room in terms of where we want to go. Obviously, as a club, you want to see progression, so you want to finish above where we finished last year, or more points and goals and less conceded, etc., etc. So I think the closer we get to the start of the season, I think that's when we'll sit as a squad probably and try and set out short-term targets and then obviously longer-term.
On a personal note, there has been a lot of talk about testimonial because it is your year for that. Do you give much thought to that?
Not really. No, not really. Listen, I'm honoured to have been here for the length of time I have, albeit it's been over two separate periods. And listen, if that's something that happens, then so be it. I think there's a lot more important things coming up this season for the club, and it's going to be a massive year, especially at the end of the season. Everyone knows that the club's going to change hands, so there's going to be that transition. It's important that runs as smoothly as possible, and obviously it's important that the club's handed over to new owners while we're in a good position, obviously on the field as well. So that's the most important thing, that we're successful enough on the field, that there's foundations set there in terms of going forward for the next 5-10 years in terms of new ownership.
Here's hoping we're set for a really good season.
No, fingers crossed. Yeah, no, as I say, hopefully the manager can strengthen the squad with another handful of bodies in, because I feel we personally feel we need it as well, because it's important to have some strong competition. We're a wee bit light in certain positions, so I'm sure the manager's got some irons in the fire in terms of getting players in, so hopefully that materialises and then we can really kick on.
Jim, thanks for joining us today.
No bother.
And thank you for joining us as well on the Greenock Morton Weekly Update, as sponsored by McTears, the Auctioneers.